East Coast. So if you're new, we're Awaken with Mark. I'm Josiah, his dad, Mark, mom, and Daniel. So we're here back again with another live to talk about moving abroad, share some helpful stories with you guys, and help you get on the path to getting your mind right, getting your money right, so you can move right, okay? So today we're talking about the importance of moving abroad and how to save yourself by just what, family? Just what?
Just get started.
Just get started. So sprinkled in between here, we'll also be sharing that on May 18th, we'll be having the Move Abroad in 3 Easy Steps virtual group workshop, where we'll be talking about why and where you want to move abroad, research hacks, and budgeting in America or wherever you're coming from. We work with people coming from the UK as well. But budgeting for where you are right now, and then hello, Tanya Brooks, and then budgeting for your destination. So say hello when you enter the chat. Let us know, with a 1 if you can hear us okay, and let us know where you're watching from. We're here in Zanzibar, Tanzania. And so with that, the link to the Move Abroad in 3 Easy Steps workshop is pinned in the description of this video, as well as the live chat, okay? We're here to also answer some of your questions. Feel free to put them in the chat. But with that, we're gonna launch into what we wanna talk about today, the importance of saving yourself and how moving abroad can help with that.
And don't forget, Josiah said to please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear us. Oh, great. Thank you so much, Tanya.
Yes, that helps.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
We don't want you to miss anything, what we're saying.
Okay.
So I'm going to open it up with a story, if that's okay.
Yep.
And so here we go, folks. So picture this. We are living in our townhouse. My wife and I, we've got our sons with us. I'm sitting on the steps and we are broke. And for the first time, I don't have a vehicle. I'm vehicle-less. And it's the first time since I was 16 years old. It's a bright sunny day. I look over at our driveway and I'm really upset with the Most High. I'm really angry at God. And I look at the driveway and I say, what you could do? You could drop a van right plop down in the driveway right there. And I sat there for a little bit and I felt the breeze go by. And in my heart, I perceived this. Yeah, I could, but there are already systems in place. Go to one of those systems and see about getting yourself a vehicle, a van. Systems like car dealerships, look in the Washington Post classified ads, talk to friends, go online, there's auto things online, network, those kinds of things.
We had the internet back then. Yeah.
Moving forward. So, neighbor friend of mine, Jamal, shout out Jamal. He's a young man at the time. I think he wasn't even, 20 years old. He might have been. And he goes, Mr. Mark, come on, we could do this thing. And he and I saw a van in the Bethesda small newspaper, Bethesda, Maryland. So we went over to see this van. He said, come on, I'm gonna go with you. And he was very encouraging, and I appreciate him doing that to this day. And welcome, Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house.
What's up?
So we go to Bethesda, Maryland, and they have this beautiful Plymouth blue in the wood panel van.
Yep.
And it had one thing that was very important to me and Marlene for our sons, and we have 4 sons, and that is a TV. At that time, it's built onto a pedestal. You didn't have TV screens in the headrest. So anyway, Jamal said, this looks good, man. I said, yeah, it does. And so I asked the guy, I said, hey, is it okay if I come back with someone who's more mechanical than I? And thankfully, he said, yeah. And I brought Marcus with us. Shout out to Marcus, great friend also. He went and he was got the hood up, and he's checking it out. And this vehicle is great, right? And so we go back in the gentleman's house, and when the gentleman goes back into another room just to get titles or stuff like that or whatever, Marcus said to me, I know you ain't gonna lie, and but you ain't got no money. And because we're close, he knew my situation.
Right.
And so he said, what you gonna do? And I said, I don't know. And so when the guy came back out, he actually asked me some things, and I said, I mumbled something. I'm not sure what came out of my mouth to this day, but it had something to do with, hey, can we have a little time because we need to get our stuff together? And he agreed because they were looking for a family, a nice family to receive the vehicle. They had actually purchased it because his wife had passed away, and they used it to go come back, and they were ready to move on now. And so he agreed that I could have more time. I said, okay. So we left Bethesda, went back to our home. And so here's what happened. So Marlene had this situation where she had retired from a job, and she interacted with those people, and turned out she had some monies that were owed her to the tune of like $3,000 to $4,000. And so I also had a letter come to me, and it said, Mr. Bradley, do you want this money? If you don't, we're going to turn it back over to the state of Texas. What had occurred was many years earlier, I mean a lot of years earlier, when I was in college, I had a marketing class, and when I would fly out to Washington, D.C., Bob Maple, my professor, said, Mark, I want you to do some extracurricular work because you didn't do too well on an exam. And I did. I ended up investing in a mutual money market fund. And I had just totally forgot about it as my life moved on. I got married and all this stuff. And they were reaching out to me to see if I wanted this money.
Wow.
To the tune of between $3,000 and $4,000, well, actually close to $4,000. Marlene got her money from the retirement.
Yes.
I got my money from the mutual money market fund proceeds. Put the two together, we were able to purchase this used van, which was perfect for us, which served us greatly many years after
Yes.
that.
Many road trips.
I
the
mean,
beach.
it was fabulous
Visit
going to
grandma.
Rehoboth, whether in Delaware or down Virginia Beach and Sandbridge, Virginia. And so that was excellent.
Yes.
And there were some things that are happening that really opened my eyes, and that is use the systems available.
Yes.
It ain't about magic. I think I learned that lesson really settled within me, that we expect the Most High to be like Barbara Eden, a genie from I Dream of Jeannie or something like
Or
that.
Aladdin or something.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's more current with Will Smith. It's like, no, he's not. And there's systems already in place.
Right.
Yeah.
And the key thing is, though, when Jamal nudged me and we went to Bethesda, or I'm sorry, before that, we went through the paper and saw it, because that was my just get started.
Get started.
Yes.
Look into the paper. So, were you going to add something, Daniel?
No, I was in agreement saying yes, because it's like you have to do something, you have to get started. And I know I'm guilty of thinking I need to have the whole thing planned out.
Imperfect.
But the Most High, I mean, it says He'll order our steps. So we just need to step. We just need to get started.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Or like your example in that older video, Dad plays the guitar, if you didn't know, and you can't tune the guitar or a piano or any instrument, for example, for musical people, if you don't strum it, if you don't hit a key, you have to give it some feedback. You got to interact with it.
You got to get
And
that
that's what you
string
do.
moving.
Right.
And then tighten it so you can hear. Is it too
Yeah.
high, too low? Where do you want it to be? But that's basically the equivalent of you checking the classifieds or something like that, you know, or Craigslist or whatever the case may be. It's like, and then y'all found the money, so to speak, or became available, I think, because you started. So in a sense, it's like, well, didn't the word say collaboration with you in the Most High? So it's not
Yes.
just you, it's not just him,
Right.
unless that's ever the situation, he'll let you know.
Right.
You're working together. So then from the classifieds with Jamal, then out of nowhere, you said you got the call, or it was a letter?
It was a
Letter.
You got a letter that y'all didn't know. Daniel, I don't think was even born yet. I was very young, maybe 8th grade, somewhere in there, mid to late 90s. Did y'all know the letter was coming?
No.
No, it was a shock, a surprise.
Right.
Big surprise, but
Right.
but it's like, I don't know, it was a surprise, I guess, when the Most High made you feel like, no, I'm not dropping something out the sky, you can do something. But then the other surprise was waiting when you're like, okay, I guess I'll look through the classifieds, and you got the ball rolling.
Yeah,
Yes.
you looked at what you had.
So you found money in a sense because you were looking for it. Domino effect. When I was before I get that, so let's get to, we're using this story to encourage all of you who have been telling us in past comments, past emails, that you're thinking about moving abroad, one angle or the other. We're here to tell you, in our experience, we are not the Most High, but
Yes.
we have been living abroad for almost 4 years now. No one's coming to save you. Dad, how about you or Mom say? Because I know I'm young, no disrespect, maybe some people need to hear it from older folk.
No, I know Mark says this a lot. It's like you're doing things, you're like, man, I'm gonna have to step out and do this because just sitting here is not gonna get it done. And I'm looking for somebody else. I'm like, no, I got it, because that's whoever that somebody else is. They don't know that they're supposed to be coming to save me. So no one is going to save you. You have to, as we all say, step out. You have to make that move, physically get up and do something to get the ball rolling, to get things going. And after you do that, you're like, wow, certain things start coming in place because you made that move. You took that energy to step forward to do that.
Yes, and like things come together. You've never done this before. That's okay. We're here. We're not your saviors either or anything like that, but we enjoy sharing and working with people in our workshops, in members only, in our ebooks and things. We enjoy putting this out here. Dad enjoys leading the family with the foundations of the principles in the word and in business, about your mindset, about getting the ball rolling, about just starting, because it's in science, I guess they call it entropy. If the living room, you can't see it, but if this place is falling apart, if we don't call a fundi, that's Swahili for a construction worker or contractor, if we don't take responsibility to keep the roof up, to keep these rooms back here clean, no one's gonna come clean it.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
We have to do it.
They're not gonna magically get cleaner and swept up and all tidy. We have to do something.
And so that's what this video is about in past videos. Get the mindset to research. Get the mindset that you are fending for yourself. Get the mindset that no one is coming to save you. You save you with the help, if you are of the faith, and even if you're not, of the Most High. We believe he didn't want to see anybody losing out or anything like that. Anyway, he can do what he wants to do. This is his beautiful creation. I used to work at Chick-fil-A, and one thing one of my managers used to say, my family loves it when I say this, he would say to anyone who was listening, Josiah, you know why I find trash in the restaurant? I'd be like, why, sir? He's like, because I'm looking for it. And he used to blow my life because in my particular unit, some of you know, if you go to Chick-fil-A, you'd be seeing the teenagers and people working for the summer and stuff. That was me. None of it, we're there for a paycheck. That's it. And I had to develop some discipline and ownership to clean my station. Time to lean, time to clean. It's the same thing we have learned with moving abroad. We find money and other resources we'll get into because we're looking for them.
That is so
Yes.
critical. Josiah said it. We're talking about help in your moving abroad because we assume you're here because you're interested in moving abroad. We do not spend time convincing people to do that. We'd rather have people self-select.
Yes.
And some of you had, because we'll see
Yeah.
you on May 18th.
Yes.
Yes.
And what we're saying is, what is the thing that you can do? This is, I guess, from a coaching perspective, what can you do? What action can you take to get some momentum going? Just get started. And if you need something, begin to look for it and you will find it. That's why we're giving you these stories, these real life stories where we've actually been in situations where the emphasis is when you take steps towards something, it will get closer to you. It's kind of like, for those of you who are over 45 years old, there was a thing called the pet rock for those of you less than 40 years old. And the pet rock, I think I had one. The pet rock is something, it was a trend, and you sit it down and it gives you instructions, and it says, you name your pet rock, you take care of it, but you sit it down on the floor and you say, let's say you call it Nigel. I'll name my pet rock Nigel. Let's say, here Nigel, and you take one step toward it. And then you go, all right, come on, Nigel, come on. And you take another step. And lo and behold, eventually, Nigel will come to you.
What about that other story you had, Dad, about when you were a little kid, a teenager,
Yes.
and there was a prior love connection? Mom already knows about this. What did you learn from it that people need to know?
One quick question before I tell this story. Oh, right.
Miss Tanya.
Tanya had a pet rock. Thank you.
Wow, check that out.
Looks like she loved it very much.
You're not alone in this.
Yes, somebody knows
been
what you're
worried.
talking about, okay.
Tanya, I'm just curious. What did you name your pet rock?
Oh,
And
wow.
for the other folks who are in the chat there, could you, let's see here. We can't remember, there's a name for something when you're gonna get, like, we had a Mustang.
Yeah.
The silver Mustang, okay? And really cool to have this convertible Mustang. We're driving around Maryland. It's just a blast.
Yes.
Frisk. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Frisk.
Frisk,
Very,
okay.
Thank you, Tanya. So anyway, so we got this silver Mustang. I forgot what year it was, 2000 something. But anyway, convertible. And what happens is when I have put the money down and we're buying this thing, because we just paid cash for it, right? I started seeing this Mustang
Everywhere.
silver Mustang that year,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yes.
And I'm asking you to type in the comments, what is the scientific term
Some
for
type
that?
of phenomenon,
Help us out.
right?
Yeah, it's a phenomenon, like Daniel
Yes.
said, help us out.
When you're
Yeah.
looking for something, you see it everywhere.
You see
Go ahead,
it
Mom.
everywhere. It's like you say, we got what was it, BMW or whatever. We were trying to get one. And we were driving it.
was
Do we
everywhere.
want to keep it? And every time you turn around, there it is. Or I have a fabulous car that I love.
Yeah.
And every time there it is. And it's like, okay. And the other time, you're not even thinking about it. You're not even
Exactly.
noticing
Yeah.
it. So there
I've
is a phenomenon. What is that called?
I've experienced that several times. If I wanted like a game system, like a Nintendo Wii or something, I would see all over the place in the back seat of people's cars. And so I'm like, now how is that?
Or decals, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So here's the story.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so actually, I was, I think, somewhere around 19 years old, and I went to one particular church, and my friends, who are my buddies to this day, and we've known each other since elementary school, or some of us were in diapers. So we're in our mid-60s now, and we've known each other a long time, all right? Anyway, but this is back when we were like 18, 19, 20 years old. And so they are going to, like, let's say three of the six of us are going to this other church around the corner from my church. And there was some kind of event, and I think it was bowling, I don't know. And one of the young ladies from their church was there. And I saw her, and I asked her out, and we started going out, to movies, to drive-ins, and we were dating, I guess you would say. And so what's funny though is, so here's three of my friends, right?
It's their church.
It's their church, yeah. Andrew, Tony, and Steve, shout out to y'all. And rest in peace, Tony. But one of them looked at the other and said, look at this. Mark done come up here and took one of our women. And that's the end of the story.
That's it.
But the point was,
How did it happen?
yeah, how it happened. Well, what had happened was that she was there with them all the time. In fact,
Took her for granted.
Yeah, and her mother is a school
Missed it.
teacher and so forth. And so some of us had her mother as a teacher, as a
Okay.
matter of fact. But they had grown familiar and they were
Yes.
numb. And so here's this potential, but they didn't see her as a potential. I'm coming with fresh eyes.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, wow, I would like to go out with her.
Yeah.
And so I asked her. It had never occurred to them. And I'm saying, if you want to move abroad,
Yeah.
you have got to realize there are things in your sphere,
Yeah.
your realm,
Right.
that are there to help you, but you have grown so familiar with it. They say familiarity breeds contempt. You kind of don't really give it honor. And it can help you in some way, shape, or fashion for this major goal of you moving abroad. Okay?
That's really good because it's like it can become complacency as well.
Yeah.
And you just, like you said, sometimes when you're too familiar, you won't change anything. I know in a lot of the business videos we watch, some people say like, you don't like your job, change it. Or you don't like this, change it. And you and mom say in your own way oftentimes that just because a difficult decision is difficult doesn't mean it's not a decision you can make, or a difficult option more specifically.
Right.
Just because it's difficult, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with what it might cost you. By the way, a lot of things, we talk about that here on the channel. We get into them in the workshop. A lot of things cost us that we had to shed to go through this portal to moving abroad. It's okay if it stings or hurts to sacrifice things, but it's still an option.
I want to ask folks, so no one typed in the name of that scientific phenomenon that we were talking about, which is when you see, for example, a car you're going to buy, you start seeing it everywhere. So that's okay. That's okay. But there was something you said about you might have to shed some things
Yeah.
to move abroad. And I asked that you all would type in the comments something that you are thinking, oh man, I may have to shed this thing. It may be maybe a family heirloom. It may be like China.
Yeah,
Yeah.
China, furniture,
It-
certain clothing that you were used to wearing.
If you could please just type in the chat, what is something that you might realize, oh wow, if I'm going to move abroad, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Ghana, South Africa,
Tanzania,
Tanzania,
Mauritius.
I'm going to have to shed. I may have to.
Yeah.
May.
You
You
might
might not.
Yeah.
I may have to shed this thing. I'm just kind of wondering
What are
how
some,
that.
while y'all answer us, what are some things, what's off the top of your head, that we had to give up?
I can think of. I'm
You can
sorry,
reel 'em
It's
off.
not funny, but it's funny now. We were dealing with weight when we moved. We didn't want to bring a lot of things that were heavy. I had these nice cast iron skillets, and you know those are heavy. So I did not bring those. Supposed to be looking to get one. My
That cast.
Josiah's girlfriend says there is one here, so I got to find one. But that was it. That was something I said, well, it's a lot of weight, but I didn't bring it. So, yeah.
Miss Tanya said the post bed.
Her great-grandmother.
Her
yes.
great-grandmother's
Yeah.
respect.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So you have
Our
that
heart goes
sentimental,
out to you.
Yes.
sentimental
Goes
stuff.
out.
Yes.
What about you, DB? Thank you for sharing that with us. These are things you think about.
Oh, hold on. While you're thinking, DB, we did
That's
not use. No one's asking us questions yet in
Yeah.
the comments, so I'm going to pretend like that was a question, and it is with regard to how we arrived. We had 21 suitcases. That was about 5 suitcases each, and we did not use a barrel, or in this case, let's see, a bed, a grandma's bed. That would be the shipping container.
Yeah.
Shipping
Now,
container.
some folks do use those,
Yes.
and some of our expat friends here have said they will never do that again in their life, and some are here already,
Yeah.
and they've started a business, and they've decided to use shipping containers to get here. So I'm just pretending that was a question, and there's possibilities, okay? So Daniel, take it away.
So for me, I had a PC, a desktop, I know it's been a minute. Most people probably got laptops nowadays, iPads, but I had a full or mid-tower desktop, and I had.
Is this the one you built yourself?
Yes, I was gonna get to that.
Oh,
You beat
oh,
me there. You beat me there. I
oh.
had, like Dad said, I had
Oh.
built this thing with my hands, and I had worked the past year or two saving up money to build this thing that I had been planning for years. I had a desire to make this thing, and so it was custom built. I had a strong bond, a strong connection, as you would say, with it, and I had to let it go for weight or just trying to save money. I downsized to a laptop just so there weren't any issues on the move here. So that was something that I parted with, and I still miss it.
But yeah, you built it to exact specifications.
Yes.
You know, and then you gotta let that go. Or like, I'm about to read y'all's comments. I had to give up we had to give up both our cars, our Hondas.
Yeah.
But that was my first car, Silva Honda Accord LX. I put a lot of work into that. Shout out again to family, Mr. Marcus. He helped me get that thing together after Uncle Wesley sold it to me. And I put a lot of TLC, a lot of tender love and care into that thing. Also drove it from Maryland to Los Angeles. If you're new here, Los Angeles is where we left off to move abroad full time. A lot of memories with that thing, but I had to give that up. Some are saying, Rakaya is saying the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, also known as the frequency illusion.
Frequency
Okay.
illusion.
Yes,
Okay.
Donna,
Okay.
Thank
Wikipedia calls it frequency illusion or selective attention. Y'all, look at this live homework we doing. That was nice, guys. That's it. Selective
Okay.
attention, aka frequency illusion.
Wow.
There it is, yeah.
Makes sense.
Because the frequency, and it's illusion.
So we need to make that illusion our friend.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
if you're interested in African food, one of the most, I guess, common we might find in the United States is maybe Nigerian, Yoruba,
Yeah.
or Ethiopian
That's true.
food. Like if you're interested in moving there, or you could be moving anywhere. You might be interested in Italy. One of my favorite YouTubers does some great real estate tourism in Italy. You might start ordering Italian food or seeing Italy, Italian-made clothing. You might naturally start seeing, some of y'all might have seen us pop up in your YouTube algorithm. You might start seeing Italy, Ghana, Brazil, wherever you're interested in things about clothing, things about culture, cuisine, food. You start seeing the frequency strengthen.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's dope.
One of the things that our family does is we not only moved abroad and pursue our goals, we also codify them. And when I say codify, that's kind of my old federal experience there. What I mean is, because there's this series of books that are actually quite a few, and they're called the CFR, or Code of Federal Regulations. And in it, it gives you instructions, and then each federal agency customizes them with policy per their agency on how they're implemented. They basically tell you how, since I'm a trainer, how you have to have an individual development plan before I'll sign off on your training form for you to spend this money to go to training, or you can't go to conferences in Hawaii or some Las Vegas probably, something like that. My point is they're written down. We took the time to look at, when we were in Los Angeles, what it was like when we were trying to sign onto our airline and we spent 3 hours waiting on the airline to get back with us. Or we spent time writing down that we were having weekly meetings and keeping agenda notes in our meetings, not because we knew we were going to do this. No, honestly, it was just because we were tracking things, and that's just the way we tend to operate. Our goal is to leave breadcrumbs for those who are interested in moving abroad, who are coming behind us. It's not to a particular country because we found principles that are similar, whether you're moving, like a dear friend of ours, shout out to Carla, to some place. I won't even say where she's going. Or whether you moved to Tanzania, or whether, like other people who've attended our workshops. What we're trying to say is, we took the time to codify, to write these things down, to think through the principles so that it would help you. Because principles, when you do those, how can I put it? A principle is teach a person how to fish. They will eat for the rest of their life, but if you give them a fish, they're going to eat one day.
Right.
And it's like we want to provide that kind of support to you. So
Yeah.
that's why we're here.
I was gonna say that in our experience, our testimony is that the Most High and creation leave a lot of breadcrumbs that way. That when you just start to learn these principles, in this case, we're putting in the case of moving abroad, that He holds your hand, so to speak, or gives you a cloud to follow. In His eyes, it's actually supernatural. It's remarkable. It's incredible. We see it as maybe something else. Sometimes, you remember in Exodus, the people left Egypt. And I guess is it Isaiah or one of the other prophets dad where the Most High said, I led you out on eagle's wings, I think. But we know that's not what literally happened. But in His mind, that's miraculous. That's eagle's wings because they just started by keeping Passover, by getting their garments and children and families together. I'm reminded of a brief story. Hold on. Before I get into that, let me look at some of what y'all are saying, and I'll get into that. Miss Donna Frazier says, I live 6 months out of the year in Jinja, Uganda. I like some of the food they serve. We hung out in Uganda for about 3 days a couple years ago for a visa run. That's Dad's food right now. He had ordered. So we enjoyed Uganda very much. It'd be nice to visit again. So good for you, Miss Donna. That's a step in the beautiful direction. Some people are just getting ready to start trying to slow travel and scout and live out there. She also says that I believe in that principle. So I'm working with 4 young entrepreneurs in Jinja so that they will learn to fish. That's awesome, Miss Donna. That's fire.
Wow. Okay.
That's fire. So you're investing. That reminds me of the brief story. We just did taxes, and I was reminded when it was time to pay, I had some money set aside in one of my accounts for taxes.
Go ahead.
You know, it didn't cover everything, but as Grandpa and our grandparents would say, that's 1 penny more than you had. When you save, when you find some money in the sofa cushions or whatever. Thank you, Miss Tanya. It is. We love seeing y'all interact. It's a true principle, isn't it? So that's something y'all can do, whether it's money. You can leave it to money, for example. We started putting money away, and we talk about that in the workshop, May 18th. We start putting money away for your fund. Were you going to say something?
And that's great because once you get moving, then you can build up that momentum,
Right.
you know? So now you know next year or next time to keep adding to that money, talking about the taxes or whatever you're doing because you started, you can keep the ball rolling now.
I want to say some, do you want to say more?
Yeah, I was going to dovetail off of what Daniel said. Okay, so that reminds me of 2 principles. One of them, or physics. One of them is an object in motion stays in motion until an external force acts against it.
Yeah.
And so that was you get that momentum going for your move abroad, whether it's getting your suitcases or going to the store and purchasing them. And you want to do it when the travel season is coming up, because we purchased ours when the travel season was ending, so they're hard to find. All right, the other physics thing is it's inertia, and that is to get something moving from a standing start is very difficult.
Exactly.
And so that's another reason why you want to get something moving and get it slowly rolling, so that once it's moving, you don't want to stop it. And so I think it's why some people, I remember, well, those are the 2 physics examples that I was thinking about. You want to get from standing start to doing something.
I think it was somewhat what Daniel was saying. When you're saving money or you're putting something aside, you have that mindset whenever you're going to spend, you'll think, okay, do I need to get this? Is this a necessity? So your thought
yes.
process is a little different when you're shopping about whatever you're doing, because you know you're putting money aside. And so when you go to do something, you go, okay, this is 400, but this is like one, you know, you think more about
Exactly.
it. You really think you get in more intentional about it when you're in that mode of just trying to put stuff aside for what's more important, so.
Ms. Donna said she agrees it's important that we learn financial literacy. So she's working with her young students in Uganda in that area. That's true, because it costs money to move abroad. By the way, May 18th, Move Abroad in 3 Easy Steps, we get more in depth
Right.
into the principles that we applied in there. You'll see a video or two out here on our channel. We encourage you to watch that. But we go more in depth in there because, oh shoot, I lost my thought. What was that? Sorry about that. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yeah, but many of the things we are covering will go more in depth in the workshop May 18th, like Josiah is saying.
Yes. Oh, there you go. You do not need millions of dollars to move abroad. We try to continue to repeat that.
Right.
That's why these principles of having money, a move abroad fund, just as we needed one for the car, just as we needed one for you to build your tower, it's good to have a move abroad fund and put a little bit here and there, because as of right now, USD still is one of the farthest reaching currencies. You should still practice financial literacy, though. Don't be out here splurging wherever you go, but just know that it still goes very far. So it's good to have that money still coming in and be very sensible about that.
When he talks about the money going very far, one of the examples would be an app that we use, and it tells us the daily rate. That's not the purpose of the app. The purpose of it is so we can convert money, whether it's Japanese yen or whether it's pesos,
Pounds,
or
British
even
pounds.
China and
Yeah.
Beijing, something like that. It's
Rwandan
really cool.
francs.
But it tells us what the daily rate is for the country we're most interested in. So here, $1 is equal to approximately 2,600 ... or XXX shillings. So if I round up to 3, then basically I know that the French fries, which they call chips here, I know that they were like, what, 5,000 shillings.
Yep.
So you can work backwards and say, well, how many times does 2.5 or 2.63 go into 5,000? You know the USD cost. So it gives you an idea of what that conversion rate is. If you have questions, please go ahead and ask us a few questions.
Also, thank you to those who have liked the video. Those who haven't, please like the video, because it will remind YouTube to remind you when we have new posts up, so that you don't miss these. We're going live a lot more often and we're having a lot of fun. So thank you for liking the video, and please put your questions in there for us, okay? A lot of what we practice and what we will be discussing in the Move Abroad workshop is what if you wanted to be able to relax? That's a question. What if you wanted to be able to relax about your move abroad? Because sometimes it can be overwhelming. In our experience, it's when we let things slip. Now, we're not calling for you to be perfect or anything like that. No, that's not it. But we do want to create the momentum you were talking about. We've been swimming a lot lately. Mom and Dad have been showing us some stuff. We weren't strong swimmers. We're stronger now. And Dad was trying to showing us how take a break from pushing off the wall. That's fun and that's great, and it generates more momentum, but it's also good to start just feet on the ground, the bottom of the pool, and learning how to cut through the water and launch yourself out. But isn't that interesting how difficult it is? Because you're also in the water as well. So that's
Resistance.
why the resistance. So this is our way of, imagine you're in the pool. We want this workshop and our videos, but definitely this workshop to kind of be the wall for you, to be able to push off of and keep the momentum going. Some of the things that helped us relax included family meetings about what we needed to do next almost 4 years ago.
Right.
Daniel pushed a lot of that. Dan, do you have some stuff to share about that?
Yeah, for me it was great because it wasn't like this frantic thing, like, oh, we're gonna move, I gotta get this in order, gotta get that in order. It's like we had a day set. We might have been meeting every day, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
at least we had a
we
day
were.
set, and we knew we were at least gonna meet for like an hour.
Right.
And so I had peace about that because I knew I had time set aside to dedicate to this goal, so it keeps moving. Like we talk about that, it keeps
Yeah.
stays in motion.
And I think also that we're chart people, we weren't always, but Mark is, so we've learned to have big pieces of paper. We would put them down on the carpet, and just put them down there and write things out. It helps because we're visual, it helps to see, because then peripherally things don't slip through the gap, like, oh, we didn't think of that. But we would, everybody would have input on what it is we're trying to do as we're getting closer and closer to that time. And so writing it out, it's just clearer, you can see it. And then throughout the day or the next day, oh yeah, we didn't put so-and-so down. So it was just very, very helpful.
While Josiah's reading that question, to dovetail on what they were saying, if you are moving abroad, wherever that might be, by yourself or with your spouse, just two of you, we still recommend you have meetings. The purpose of it is it's sort of like when you are doing something artistic, or you have an office in your house for your work. You set that aside, and whenever you're in that location, your brain automatically shifts to the things related to that artistry or that business work. Your brain clicks into it. And so if you're having meetings that are organized on a certain day, even if it's just by yourself, it means you're holding yourself accountable and you're more likely to get things accomplished. To say, okay, did I check on my cell phone provider? Did I check on my auto bill pay? Things like that.
Did you balance when to sell the car?
Yes.
Because you'll need that in between donating, and you might need it to get to the airport, or are you going to do Uber, or are you selling, so that you can juggle things. Ms. Donna asks if it says you're in Zanzibar. If so, when did you folks move there? Do you have dual citizenship? I returned to Uganda in August, and I want to apply for it when I return. I guess dual citizenship. Yes, we are currently in Zanzibar right now. As of right now, you cannot hold dual citizenship in Greater Tanzania. You have to pick one or the other. So we talk about those things as well, how important it is, depending on if citizenship is important to you. We give research hacks May 18th about finding those places if that's very important to you. We know some people are renouncing. That's up to them. Ms. Tanya has a checklist that she goes over weekly.
Nice.
That is beautiful. We love to hear that. So yeah.
Oh, on the citizenship, we do not have citizenship, and we did not pursue it. We take things one step at a time, and that's our recommendation to people, because our observation is when we've talked over 20, 25, 30 something expats, it hit us. Unintended consequence. It just jumped off the page. Wait a minute. 90% of them are not in their original location anymore.
Like us.
Folks, you need time to find out, is it really, even after your scouting trip, are you really feeling this place? Is it really your place? I realize you're going to Uganda and you've been there many times and you're working with people, so you probably already know. But for others, that it might be one of those where you just kind of take things a little bit at a time. We had a 10-year visa with Rwanda.
Yep.
And
still do,
still do. I
Yeah.
forgot. 10 years hasn't gone by.
9 months, so yeah.
So
Exactly. Well, residencies, in our experience, we have residencies here. My parents are retired, and so we're enjoying that because we did a couple videos. Dad did a couple videos on this a while ago. We're not ready to spend that $2,300 to renounce our U.S. citizenship. If that's important to you, that's fine. Those are things you want to take into account. did you all learn the language before you went there? Hapana, that's Swahili for no. No, because again, Mom said we were in Rwanda for about 9 months, a year. We learned a few words there. Sadly, I've kind of lost them.
Yeah.
Wait, you didn't brush up on a little French? Because I believe they speak a bit of it in Rwanda.
They do.
I thought you had just glanced at something.
If I did, no,
Yeah.
trust me.
There you go.
It's,
No.
things, man, if I shake my head, a lot more knowledge will fall out. So
No.
That's okay.
No.
But yeah, and then
Yeah.
on the way here, when we took an investment opportunity, no, but we knew probably as much as most people because we watched Lion King. So that's like, I mean, she's laughing because it's true.
Yeah.
A lot of heavy Swahili is in Lion King. Simba literally means lion. Hakuna Matata, they will say that here. It
Yes.
means
Yes.
no worries. Amnashida, no problem. So we know a lot of
Rafiki.
Rafiki means
Means friend.
means friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Swahili. One thing that has helped us here is how very outgoing and gregarious we find the people here.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Hey, what's up? Oh yeah, no problem. Nice to see you.
yeah.
Welcome. Karibu.
Karibu.
That's Swahili for welcome. They use that for a lot of stuff. It can be a little confused. Sometimes they'll say karibu to couchy, to the couch, which really just means have a seat.
Yes.
Or karibu, we got our lunch over there. They'll say karibu to share food, which just means would you like some? Some of it's not direct translation. A lot of it is actually interpretation based on the situation at hand. So no, but we've been doing okay. The little bit of research we had done on the overall Swahili culture here, because we're in the Swahili coast here in Zanzibar, Tanzania, was that again, they're very outgoing, gregarious people. There's a lot of, I guess you call it broken Swahili that a lot of us expats and foreigners learn, but they're very open. The people in our neighborhood here at the grocery store, at the restaurants, are always picking on Dad in particular about the words, but when he gets things wrong, they help you out, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Don't they?
I think the thing is that because they're from here and if you don't speak the language, they look at you like, well, why don't you, how long you been here? You know, even it's, you know, more than a year or so, but it's like, they're like puzzled that you don't know it. But then I don't always say it to them, but my thing is, if you were to come to the States, it's not your language, and
Sure.
so we're not necessarily expecting you just out of all to know it, you know, and it takes a minute, you know, so it's not language is easy for everybody, so.
Yeah, and I think also they speak more languages here
Yeah.
versus in America. We kind of know
One
a little
language.
bit of like Spanish
Yeah.
or what is required for us to graduate from high school, you know,
Right.
a second language.
Just
It's
está
kinda-
Susana en casa? Donde está? En la sala?
Hola.
No, en la
Hola.
cocina.
Konnichiwa.
Espanol, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's really just this
Yeah.
thing that you have to do unless you have like a yearning, a
yearning to do it.
yearning to
Mhm,
do it, to
mhm.
learn other languages. And so we're really only speaking one language versus here people may speak multiple languages. They can be speaking their tribal language, they can be
Yes.
speaking Swahili.
Yep.
So it's different. It's a different culture.
Yeah. But my girlfriend is our teacher right now, so let us know if you're interested in virtual Swahili classes for any of you who are interested in moving to the Swahili coast or Tanzania specifically.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
offers online courses, and he's showing you proximity, but her being his girlfriend, no, she's formal instruction, okay?
Yes,
She
yes.
has done this before
Right.
Yes.
and held multiple sessions and already created curriculum for different levels, beginner, intermediate, advanced.
Yep.
So she is an instructor.
Yeah, and I think she comes from a teaching family.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, her mom was a teacher. She's worked in mentorship for many years herself.
Yeah, and real quick, I want to say, if you guys, again, if you're interested in that virtual Swahili, just email at us at AwakenWithMark and put virtual Swahili
Right.
in the subject. Is that what it's called?
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Miss Donna says, I appreciate the people in Jinja, Uganda that don't make me feel bad that I don't speak the language there. They speak British English, so it's not hard for me. That's great, yeah, because it's important with piecemealing your research. You know, do you know? This gets in kind of your travel personality. Some people just like to kind of jump in. Some people need to they need to start slow. Do you take to languages easily or not? For example, that can help you pinpoint where you want to go. There's nothing wrong with wanting to maybe be somewhere where there's more English, British or American standard English. There's nothing wrong with being amongst more expats and people traveling to kind of get your feet wet, because you can learn the language when you're ready. We know someone been here almost 10 years. She really doesn't know any Swahili and she's not interested, but she's fine and she's got neighbors and she's good.
Yeah, what Josiah's touching on is really knowing what type of traveler you are. And we really touch on that in our workshop next month, May 18th. And it really helps you to know where you jive, what you're looking for, what things you need, where you're going to settle when you move abroad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What if you wanted peace of mind about your move? We'll help you with that as far as like talking to who are you talking to about your move, about renewal of passports or applications for visas and things like that. We get more in depth about our experience with that to share with you. Again, everything is, the foundation is that we move to Africa, but everything we talk about is evergreen or timeless. So you can use these resources and the things that we give you and the strategies anywhere that you want to go. But it definitely helps you if you're moving to Africa.
Part of the reason why they're evergreen or timeless is because we didn't know it. And
Right.
that's often the case with God, with the Most High, that there's things happening in your life that are preparing you for something else. On a minor example, my mother made me take typing when I was a freshman in high school, and I ended up taking it, and me and my friends did 2 years in a row. That would serve me 30 years later when Josiah and I are working on a novel, or even before that, 20-something years later, when I'm working at IBM as a systems engineer and I'm in front of a customer or whatever. Just trust me, knowing how to type really makes a difference when you're clacking on the keyboard there. Now, we have been blessed. We like to travel, so we've taken family trips, individual trips, husband and wife trips, and so it's been fun going to St. Kitts and Nevis.
Oh, yeah.
It was fun going to Jamaica. It was fun going to Kyoto, Tokyo. It was fun going to Tulum.
Yep.
And
Jamaica.
Yucatan. Yeah.
Bermuda.
And so
Yeah.
you're getting that from us also, those experiences. And we have our other two sons who've been to like France, Italy,
Bermuda. Yeah.
London,
France.
Australia.
Yeah.
Australia,
So
France.
you're getting that from us also.
Yep. All for, again, what if you want a peace of mind? The overwhelm can be crazy. We're not here to rush you. If we didn't say it before, one of the reasons we invite you for May 18th to come get this information. You know what your situation is. We knew maybe a year prior to moving abroad that we wanted to move, but it still took us living our life, downsizing, organizing our finances, sitting down with expat friends that we already had living on the continent, finding new people such as yourselves on YouTube. There's a lot of newsletters for people traveling abroad as well as for Black folk. A lot of our community watches us as well, and you'd be pleasantly surprised how many newsletters, YouTube accounts, and so on are sharing melanated Black folk enjoying retirement abroad, digital nomad life abroad. We are out here, and that gave us a lot of peace of mind. Probably everyone we happened to talk to was Black, and that just made us feel better. So, so we're not, what's the term, unicorns or something. We're not pioneering. In a way we are, because we have, Daniel and I have two other brothers who are working on their plans as well. We have other friends and family. But that aside, this put a lot of peace in us to move abroad.
Yeah.
I have another question for the folks.
Yeah.
What is your biggest fear about moving abroad? I'll say it again. What is your biggest fear about moving abroad?
Please share with us. Yeah, I'd like to know that. As you're working on, oh, you know what? That's important because there's no judgment. This can cloud your judgment. We were saying on a video once, I know last I heard Europe or Spain or Portugal, there's like no power right now or something. So
Portugal and Spain.
Portugal and Spain. Okay. We've heard people say, oh, they don't like us in Africa. That's a big continent. They don't like us in Spain. They don't like us in. That's why you've got to look for yourself. No one's going to fix it for you. If you're interested in Spain, if you're interested in Tanzania, South Africa, wherever, you owe it to yourself to see what's really going on. Don't just go. We encourage you, go someplace that sets your heart on fire. I don't care how cliche that is. This is real. You're going to become a different person. You're going to become more yourself. I'm not saying you're not yourself. I'm not saying we weren't ourselves. We became more of ourselves. There are plenty of black melanated folk that, in fact, we follow some of their YouTube channels, in fact, and get inspired about scouting trips and things we want to take. Black folk, black families, people retired living in Spain. But people are like, but they don't like us in Spain. Well, I don't know. But you owe it to yourself to figure out what's really going on. What's really going on that could have kept Miss Donna from being in Uganda. They could have said, oh, they don't like us. There's a rich history. Dad asked in general, what keeps you from moving abroad? While you're thinking about that, please let us know if you feel comfortable. We're doing fine in Africa. We're not the only ones. For what it's worth, and I think it's worth a lot, if you're Black American watching us, there's a lot of complex history as far as continental African history and African Black American history. If you really stop and think about it, there's a lot of continental African history you don't know because of racism and things like that in America, and how it is not prioritized to share African history beyond February, 28 to 29 days in February. Likewise, there's a lot of Black American history that continental Africans do not know because of who controls the media, okay? So the unknown is Miss Tanya's fear. If you'd like to elaborate even more, does that touch food? Is that everything, maybe across the board? You can just say across the board if you'd like. Does it have to do with culture, like I'm talking about, or history, or food, or safety, or things like that? Because Mom can talk about it. There's a lot of women we know and herself dealing with the safety.
We get that a lot. People ask, do you feel safe walking down the street at night? And excuse me, I do feel safe. I'm not necessarily out at night by myself because I have family and everything, but I don't feel unsafe. So when we're out at night, say we're going to a restaurant or something, we're coming back, and it could be after 10 or something, I'm not feeling like, oh man, a cop car comes by or something. That's one thing that's really been different. I don't feel like, if I see a cop car that, I'm not getting nervous. That just doesn't happen. But I don't feel like, something's going to happen, someone's going to jump me, things like that. And I always try to tell people, you have to use wisdom no matter where you are. People think Africa is a certain way because they've got negative whatever, but I do feel safe, and there's a lot of single women. We know a lot, even where we are in other areas, even on a lot of YouTube channels and stuff, there's a lot of single women, be it just by themselves or they have adult children, a lot. So they're out here and they're doing very well. So.
Yes.
I have something to say about that. I thank you for your comment, and you gave clarity too in terms of culture and safety about the fear. I'm going to use a cliche I got from, he's out of Florida. The motivational speaker, Les Brown. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. That's one thing. The second thing is, I remember there's different kinds of fear. Some of it we concoct in our head and we tell ourselves stories. And then that story becomes a reality and our body reacts according to that story. And we choose the emotions that run along with it, okay? And then there are some fears that are, well, I'll give you this example. So I was going through some training once, and I would fly from Washington, D.C. down to Orlando. And then I would go to visit Dave and his wife, Stephanie, down there in Kissimmee. And so I would fly out of there back to D.C. And when the plane was flying, I could see the highway as it's taken off. God, I haven't gotten too high. And you can see the divider in the grass. And you get a lot of rain, you got that gully, and you got water. And I literally saw alligators. And I was like, oh my gosh. And of course I'm up in this plane, I'm safe. But the point is, I've heard of people on golf courses, and they might encounter, if there's a pond or a water source, they might encounter an alligator. And so that's a legitimate fear. But when I concoct in my head a possible fear, and when you think about it, actually 90% of the worst things we think are going to happen don't happen.
Anxiety.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm talking about these things is because I have found out it's important to me that I have to manage and keep my stress down. And so it's important that I'm clear of thought so that those things don't happen to me. And I've begun to, I guess, put things in, try to think through things and respond versus reacting. And I've got a long ways to go, but I'm on my journey. And that'll help me in terms of thinking about whether the fears of something like that. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I was very concerned when we flew to Japan. I don't know if you knew that. But
Remember.
yeah, and so, but you know, as it turned out, it was a fabulous trip. And oh my gosh, I allowed, how old were you at the time? Ballpark range.
17, maybe.
Okay. And you're just there with me, and we're part of a tour group, but there was also a sub-tour group, and I forgot his name, and his the young lady, Mandy, they were in anime like you. And so we had ridden the subway with them once. And then I was just tired and my leg hurt, and I stayed home one night, and y'all were out and about, and I said, it's cool, just go do what you're gonna do. And and everything was fine.
It was beautiful out now.
Yes, it was, but I was thinking to myself, what am I doing? But I realized, no, it's gonna be all right. So one of the last thing I have to say about that.
All good.
So Daniel has listed in the travel kit a book by a guy named Joseph Mbele. And he is a professor, and he has taught here in Tanzania, and he does most of his professorial work, his teaching, out of University of Madison, Wisconsin. So here you have a Tanzanian who teaches culture in Madison, University of Madison, Wisconsin. One of the things he's observed about us Americans is we are apparently fearful of everything, okay?
Everything.
Yeah, we just kind of blow everything up. And when I read that in his book, and he interacted with us via email, and we took one of his courses, I was like, oh, wow, I see it as I'm interacting with other Tanzanians, Ugandans, Rwandans.
Kenyans.
Yeah, Kenyans. Oh, I kind of see.
Oman.
So forgive me, my desire is not to belittle what you said. I'm just trying to learn to, I think my mom did a good job of enjoying life while she was alive. And I feel like the Most High has told me I need to loosen up and learn to live. So that's an assignment he gave me personally.
I love what Miss Donna, thank you. Miss Donna's really just sharing a lot of great testimonies in here. She's retired. She says, I live by myself in Jinja. I have wonderful neighbors and a great landlord. They all look out for me. I have personal boda, that's a motorcycle taxi. We have them here in Zanzibar too. I have personal boda drivers that all look out for me when I need transport. Jinja is right on the equator. Living there is better for my health. Good air, fresh fruit, vegetables, meat. I also have a great doctor. So that's great. That's fabulous because we experience, family, feel free to chime in, we experience a lot of those things as well here in Tanzania.
Yeah. I was gonna say Rwanda, but still,
Also
yeah.
Rwanda, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll speak to it.
Helps decrease the fear. This is a safe space, Miss Tanya, and anyone else who was feeling the same way.
There's a lady here in Zanzibar, Sonia is her name. We call her Mama Sonia. And I guess she's a little older than me, a little younger than you, Marlene, right?
No, she's 70, 71.
Oh, right. Okay. And Marlene,
Gotcha.
and
Okay.
you are 70. Okay. So her mother is 90 years old, and she's here.
Great.
And her in that video, Mama Sonia talks about how her mother had all these medicines and how because we're eating food that is not got all these chemicals in it and it's more closer to the source, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Plus it's more relaxing, that her mother had a down tip when she was first here, probably departing from America, and then an uptick and now she's on zero medication.
Zero meds.
You can check that interview and hear Mama Sonia explaining that herself. And that's just our way of saying, co-signing on what Donna is saying.
Yes. That's also why Miss Tanya and anyone else, I know some people, more quiet, totally fine. That's the other reason we invite you to binge our videos and join us May 18th for the Move Abroad 3 Easy Steps, because you can ask us more questions like that. We have take-home digital downloads and tools we've built based off our experience of things we've learned that also talk about things like safety, culture. We have some testimonials that we'll share with, additional testimonies that we share with you. That's for the group workshop space. This will also be good because in that space we have people making friends, exchanging email, because we talk a lot about how it's important and an asset to be able to Dad talked about accountability, so you can do that with us, so to speak, but you can also, community is very, very important. We talk about how we found groups online and the way we went about doing those things, because the people are out here to share about those things. And so with that, again, May 18th, Move Abroad, 3 Easy Steps. Daniel is plugging the videos we've talked about, as well as the links to the Move Abroad workshop, where you can see that. Tickets are $97. May 18th is Sunday, meeting noontime Eastern Standard Time. It's a Zoom group workshop. Again, we're talking about why, the mental, things like safety, the rewards of moving abroad, and so on. Our experience with African history, also if you're interested in moving to Africa, but that also can affect the other places you're going to go. You'll want to know about the history there as well. Of course, where you're going. Budgeting, like we were talking about, you do not need to be a millionaire to move abroad. But this is a project. Dad likes to call it like project management. It is. It has a beginning, middle, and end. So you're generating financial momentum, budgeting for America, and then budgeting for the country that you're going to go to. We show you how we did that. And also our research hacks. We show you the tools that we use. And then we developed our own digital tools that you can just download yourself and use to build that momentum, to get that research going. You do not have to be leaving 2025. You don't even have to be leaving 2026. There's no rush or anything like that. After the Move Abroad workshop, you're also invited, unless you want to do it now, you're invited to join members only as well. That's a membership here on YouTube, YouTube members only, or there are more exclusive videos that feel like the workshop, but we're putting them out weekly. The workshop's a one-time thing. Every so many months, you know, we announce that and things like that. But to keep that momentum going, you're welcome to join YouTube members only as well. Ms. Donna says, I look forward to joining you on the workshop. Oh, okay. I'll sign in when I get paid. Thank you for this video. I've enjoyed the conversation. That's fire. Well,
Great.
Karibu. Welcome,
Asante
Ms.
sana.
Donna
Welcome,
Asante Sana.
welcome.
We're excited to meet you. You gave us a lot of insight and a lot of
Yeah,
ideas as well about Uganda.
Did you mention that the slots are limited? Because what's
Oh!
happening is we're getting a lot
ahead.
of people.
Oh, yeah.
I totally missed that.
Well, it's a controlled environment.
Yeah.
I'll say it like that.
Make sure we didn't
And
miss nothing else.
so slots are limited, and we will say no to folks if necessary. Okay, so please move on that quickly. Last parts. Why do all this? These are the feelings we experience. You don't have to wonder what's next to do.
Right.
We're going to help you with that. You don't have to feel overwhelmed, all right, because we'll give you a good perspective. Go ahead and go to our website and see the testimonials, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, more than that of people, of attendees of our workshops. And these are actually what they said. You don't have to be scared about it. You can actually say, oh, this is what that is. And with some understanding, you don't feel scared. You'll know why you want to move. And if you ever read things like Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, he talks about the importance of that kind of stuff, knowing a good why, because that'll get you through the obstacles. And we also help you with tools on how to know where you're going to be moving to. So what are you going to walk away with? What are outcomes? This is what they tell us, and what we're telling you, you're going to have an organized plan.
Right.
And you're going to feel good about that.
Real good. Peace of mind, no overwhelm, because again, the logistics are fine. We go over passport experience, applications, visa applications, culture and things like that, cost of living. We go through all of that. But if you don't have the peace of mind, if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the boldness, built on real research, real truth about moving abroad, all that logistical stuff, it doesn't matter, because it is emotional. It is, isn't it?
Yes.
You show up, you're showing up for yourself. All that logistical stuff really just goes out the window. But when you get these mental foundations right, all that stuff, in our experience, I'm serious, it takes care of itself, even when you have the highs and lows. We talk more in depth about those things in the workshop. We talk more in depth about those things in our members only, where we get into our unfiltered life,
Yes.
moving abroad. We also have an organized master class of just testimonials, things that we executed on with take-home tools as well. That's what all this is for, to give you that peace of mind, to help you just start. You're not going to get magicked out or snatched out, beam me up, Scotty. In our experience, there's nothing wrong with that, because you can save yourself and you're not alone.
Right,
It's okay.
right. I think also, you said about emotion, people have asked us, you know, how are we feeling emotionally about being here and other family being in the States? We talk a lot about that. We talk about things that we've done, how we deal with it. So that'll be a lot of things that you'll be able to ask about. That'll be on the workshop. That'll be things we would expound on even more in the membership. So
There you
look
go.
to see you there.
Before we wave goodbye, if you found value in anything that we said, could you click on that thumbs up? We appreciate you. We thank you for listening with us, watching with us. We thank you for answering our questions and asking us questions and offering comments and suggestions and so forth. We're really appreciative of those things.
Yes, we
That's
are.
it.
So thank you.
Thank you.
We hope to see y'all May 18th.
Yes.
Between then, we'll see you on the next video. Be blessed, y'all.